Welcome everyone, I'm Emery Hunt, the czar of the playbook, and now that all of the film has been watched and all of the grades are in, it's time for the FBGP Scouting NFL Draft Prospect Preview presented by Crossover. Before we get started with our rankings, here's how we gather our grades and what they actually mean. First, we watch a minimum of 3 full games on a prospect, his best game, his worst game, and the best possible matchup. And second, we grade on 15 key points specific to the position to equal 100 points in total. Now here's what the grades you'll see by a prospect name will actually mean. Prospects that have earned grades in the 90s graded out as potential future NFL All-Pros. Prospects in the 80s are considered future Pro Bowl players. Grades in the 70s represent solid NFL starters, and grades in the 60s are players that we believe are spot starters or situational starters in the NFL. And if you notice, we don't use the word reserve or backup because we personally feel as though there's no such thing as backups in the NFL, only starters in waiting. So without further ado, let's kick off our rankings by taking a look at our top 10. Dan Feeney of Indiana leads off our guard rankings as the #1 rated guard prospect in this year's draft class. His core strength is constantly on display. He's able to absorb, contact, gather, and redirect defenders extremely well. His pass protection skills, I believe, are solid, and he's a strike first type of a guy that's able to mirror and match very well. Just like you're watching in this clip, he's athletic enough to see time at right tackle. He's an offensive lineman that does both the big things and little things extremely well. In my opinion, he's a day one impact player. Jordan Morgan of Kutztown may be a surprise to some at #2, but his tape and technique is too good to ignore. He's one of the more technically sound offensive linemen in this year's draft class, and technique is something that definitely translates to the next level. He wasn't overwhelmed at the Senior Bowl also, and the two-time All-American has great hands, great feet, and the athleticism to succeed. One key trait of his game that I really like is his hand usage. It's always giving him a chance to succeed, especially in close quarters. This is why I think he'll transition well to guard. Looking at the remainder of our top 10, you'll see another PSAC guy in the mix in Ethan Cooper out of Indiana of Pennsylvania. Dorian Johnson of Pitt and Isaac Asiata are tremendous in the running game. I love the athleticism and versatility that both Deion Dawkins out of Temple and Forrest Lamp out of Western Kentucky bring to the table. Both guys can also serve roles as tackles if need be. Jessamine Dunker out of Tennessee State was well coached in college and was extremely impressive on tape as well. He was one that was consistently showing the patience and accuracy with his punch and definitely has the athleticism that translates. Moving on to player rankings 11 through 20, Eric Austell of Charleston Southern and Zach Johnson, obviously before the injury, had really good weeks of practice at the East-West Shrine game. Also is one heck of an athlete. Nico Saragusa and David Sharp are massive guys that are able to use their size to excel in the running game. And keep an eye on Nate Thieker of Wayne State. He has played both guard and tackle while in college. Zach Banner out of USC is an intriguing prospect. He's a big man that has issues with quicker defensive linemen. That's why, in my opinion, he projects better inside at right guard, where he is protected on the outside, and when he has that protection, he can definitely take that power step, fire off the football, and win at the point of attack. He's much better in all aspects of his game as a result. If you want proof, check the game versus Solomon Thomas of Stanford to see a better illustration of both his positives and his areas of improvement. And rounding out our guard prospect rankings with 21 through 25, Jeff Gray of Manitoba is a top-level CFL draft prospect this year who is also having a solid week of practice at the East-West Shrine game. Anton Warby out of Wofford is coming out of a triple option offense where he played tackle, so he definitely has the footwork and the athleticism to kick down inside at guard. Stephen Evans of North Alabama, in my opinion, is a tremendous prospect. He played left tackle for the Lions, but projects as a guard at the next level. I'm a big fan of his hand placement and his strength to shock and stymie defenders while maintaining his position of control. I think he has the athleticism to be used on pulls, traps, and also getting out on screen plays. So that's a wrap for our 2017 FBGP Scouting Draft Prospect Preview presented by Crossover. To see more of our individual scouting reports, follow us on Twitter at FBGP Scouting and bookmark the page, footballgameplan.com/FBGP Scouting. Also, subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/footballgameplan, where you can get all of our scouting videos, mock drafts, pro day videos, and interviews with NFL draft prospects. And one more thing, subscribe to us on iTunes under Football Game Plan Podcast.